reason I've been so proud of her is she started a mentor program for youth, and she started the program on the west side. And once I became alderman, she's like, well, hey, maybe we can do something on the south side. So I'm definitely excited and want to be able to give her a forum as well to talk about her program. So it's OEN, but that's the acronym, but it's Organizing Youth Impacting Neighborhoods. So she'll take a few minutes to come up and talk about her program, and then we'll get back to our countywide candidates. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll be very brief. Good morning.
Good morning.
As Alderman Holmes said, my name is Akiza Willis. I'm the founder and executive director of Organizing Youth Impacting Neighborhoods, which is a nonprofit tax-exempt organization. We run a program called OIN's Mentor Program. It's Black History Month, so a lot of people's focus is on the history and culture of our African-American community. I firmly believe that we don't want to just focus on that for 1 month of the year. It needs to be something that we are focused on throughout the year. So that's one of the charges of the mentor program, to make sure that we are, making sure that our youth are in touch with their history and culture, but also we want to help them set goals, plan for the future, become viable members of the community so that they have a sense of responsibility for their neighborhoods, and also make sure that they're globally aware, that they feel like they're members of the global community. So one of the things that we want to roll out this particular run of the program is making sure that we have a communication between our youth and youth in another country, because we want to make sure that they know that they are, the world is bigger than the neighborhood that they live in. So we are looking for mentors and mentees. We need some responsible professional adults to come and work with our students. The ideal ratio of mentor and mentee for the program is 1-to-1. So we're looking for men and women. We're also looking for mentees. Alderman Holmes mentioned that we were on the west side, but we've moved to the south side. So we're kind of starting over with a lot of our recruitment. The young people that we work with are between the ages of 10 to 13. So if you're either interested in mentoring, or you have children that you think might be interested, or you know somebody that might be interested, please, I can pass around a sign-in sheet. We're going to have an information session next Saturday, the 1st of March, that morning, over here on the south side. So I can pass on information to you if you let me know that you're interested in the program. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Where's it located?
We're going to be meeting over it's near 71st and Jeffrey.
The school, the program.
Right. We meet I should mention that. We meet every other Saturday morning. And we're meeting at 2108 East 71st Street.
Okay.
So, if you sign the sheet that I'm going to pass around, then I will email you the information for the information session, and that's the same place that we'll be meeting every other Saturday morning. Okay. Were there any other questions? Did I miss anything else? No? Okay. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.
And also for anyone interested, just so you know, that was in our e-newsletter, the e-newsletter that goes out from my office last week. So you can click on a link and get that information as well. So to get back to it, we have a couple more people here that would like to address the crowd. So the first person I'm going to bring up is Cook County Commissioner. Oh, she's passing the sheet.
Yeah, I'll just
right
rotate this around.
Okay. Cook County Commissioner for the 4th District, Stan Moore. He's running to retain his seat. So, Stan Moore, come on down.
Thank you, Alderman. Hello, everybody. I'm Stanley Moore, Cook County Commissioner of the 4th District. Excuse my attire. I'm out walking precincts and knocking doors. Our district is very big. It includes the 6th Ward, the 7th Ward, the 8th Ward, the 9th Ward, the 10th Ward, the 21st Ward. It includes South Holland, Calumet City, Dalton, Burnham, and Lansing. So we have 330,000 people that live within my district. So I need volunteers to help me knock on 330,000 doors. Can I see it? No? All right. Thank you. So it's been an exciting year. We're up for re-election. March 18th is election day. So we have a very short time period to meet as many people as we can and tell them about the great things that we've been doing in Cook County. I see my state reps in the room, State Rep Riley, State Rep Marcus. These are two very impressive young men. Let me tell you, they passed legislation. And one of them is actually a fraternity brother of mine, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. But these two young men are passing legislation down in Springfield that trickles down to us, so the federal, the state, and then the county. And I'm watching what they do on the state level so I can emulate that and do it on the county level. For instance, when I first got in office, one of the issues were the landfills out along the Calumet Expressway in Bishop Ford. Those landfills, there was a 20-year moratorium on those landfills not to operate. I don't know how many people remember driving up and down the Bishop Ford, but you remember years ago when we used to drive up and down the Bishop Ford and you could smell that smell? You remember that? Yes, that was a horrible stench. And that, what it was they were burning all this refuse. Well, the state put a moratorium on that, 20 years. Well, guess what? It's been 20 years since you smelled that smell. And now they want to reopen those landfills. And Marcus, and I think State Senator Trotter, right, were the sponsors of this bill to cap that and make sure that they do not reopen it. Well, one of the things that, as soon as I saw Marcus do that, I said, you know what? We need to do the exact same thing at the county. Just happened to be my very first day there. Took me almost 3 months, but we finally passed solid waste ordinance, where we can go out and do inspections and check on them and make sure that they're maintaining their properties the way they're supposed to, so they don't pollute our waters and pollute our systems. So I'm your commissioner, Cook County Commissioner Stanley Moore. I'm pleased to be here today. I need your support on Election Day. Please support me. Punch 101. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, next up we have the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, and I'm not sure if most people even know what MWRD does, but we have a couple candidates here who are running to be a member of the board. So Mr. Avila is here, but he has laryngitis. You still got to come up though. He has laryngitis, so Representative Riley is going to help and speak on his behalf. So, Mr. Avila, yeah, tell him what the Water Reclamation District does too. There you go.
I got over with laryngitis. I can't talk.
You owe me. The Water Reclamation District is probably one of the most important public entities, but one that's not very well known. The Water Reclamation District used to be, for some of you old timers, and I like Stan Moore calling me a youngster. I'm old enough to know the old sanitary district. And these were the people that over 100 years ago did what they call one of the most, one of the 7 engineering wonders of the world, when they reversed the flow of the Chicago River to make sure that effluent did not get into the river. Water Rec has a tremendous job. They have all of the water filtration systems, but they do a lot more than that. They do things like create policy to deal with, stormwater and where it goes, and basically helping to keep our sanitary systems operating the best in the world. Actually, that district has the largest water filtration system in the world. Wastewater in the world.
He's saying that we treat poop and pee. Our budget is $1.2 billion. And our first mission is to protect our water supply in Michigan. Our second mission, you all eat and drink every day, and you all eliminate your waste. It's all poop and pee. We have 7 plants. 3 are the largest in North America. 1 is the largest in the world. We are the expert in treating your human waste. And people from all over the world come and see how we protect water environment.
And the Stickney plant is the largest. I've been out there. The other thing that they do, of course, they run the deep tunnel. And if you think things were bad in terms of flooding, just think of what we would be Atlantis. We'd be underwater if it wasn't for the deep tunnel project. So they do a tremendous job. They also do a lot of work. Earlier we were talking about economic development, things happening. There's something called the Calumet Reserve that Water Rec is getting involved in. that's going to bring a lot of development and a lot of green kinds of job and industrial opportunities to the south side and the south suburbs. So water rec is extremely important. I know all these people. I've passed legislation to promulgate a lot of the things that the water reclamation has done. So again, it tells you that connection between levels and units of government, and which is extremely important. There is a slate endorsed by the Democratic Party, and I know all of those people: Frank Avila, Josina Morita, who's an urban planner like me, and Tim Bradford. These are all good people. I've known them a long time. They're working real hard to, number one, create opportunities for jobs, but number two, keep you safe. That's the most important thing. So, is there anything else, Brian? Okay. Question?
Question from the two of you that probably have the answer. Lake Michigan obviously is probably our most valuable resource. And it's one of the most valuable resources in the world, so it's not a small thing protecting Lake Michigan. The two biggest threats to it seem to be monetary. One, which is within the next 10 years, it's a resource we might try to start selling to other states. That concerns me because it's valuable and we're running out of things to sell. Second threat, obviously, is pollution, and there's some awareness of that. And the third biggest threat, which seems to be a very low awareness, is Asian carp. And we were doing some pretty stupid things about Asian carp that could decimate the Lake Michigan potentially. And I'm wondering which of those things you have to take under your purview and deal with. Because I'm not sure everything that you do.
Well, we deal with all of it except the Asian carp is the whole United States problem. Because the Asian carp was introduced down south from fish.
Yeah, about 50 years ago, it started in Arkansas, and it flooded, and now there's 96% of the fish.
And they call them invasive species. Well, you know, throughout the years, we have 160 other invasive species moving back and forth.
Snail darter.
And so we have a lot of invasive species. And they're most concerned about the Asian carp, the big-head carp and silver carp, because they feel that it might disturb the $7 billion fishing industry in Michigan. And the Army Corps...
And the vegetation.
Right, because they're vegans, eat all the vegetation. So the Army Corps came out with a report. They came out with 8 different solutions. And they had public hearing on it. And one of the solutions was maybe $1 billion for 18 years. I doubt that the government is going to go that route. So they're probably going to do something about how to control the Asian carp. They can't eliminate the Asian carp. The Asian carp is here to stay. There's another carp coming up now, besides the big-head carp and silver carp, is the black carp. That's coming up also. So we have to learn how to control it. And people say, you know, we cannot eat Asian carp.
They're delicious.
How many here eat Asian carp? I grew up eating buffalo fish. How many here eat buffalo fish? Boning, but that's what I ate. So now we have to learn how to control the Asian carp and maybe find a market for them. The state sold, 30 million pounds of Asian carp to the Chinese for $20 billion. We have to have a market and learn how to control this Asian carp. So I think the Army Corps is going to try and solve it, but we're not going to eliminate the Asian carp. On the pollution side of it, we have a department that monitors all of the manufacturers along the road, a large portion that we control, to make sure that no toxic chemicals are going into Lake Michigan. But we cannot control the next state over or the next state up. They have to do their own control. But I don't think we're ever going to sell water to Arizona, California. What I think is going to happen, they're all going to move up here. They're all going to move up here in the Midwest.
You know, one of the things, real quickly, because that is an important question, but it shows you, again, the importance of collaboration of all levels of government. Now, specifically in terms of the state, it's DNR. DNR does a lot of work with Water Rec, along with the IEPA, to control some of the things you're talking about. Now, I go way back. I remember in 1974, I was a planner, and I used to do, remember the old HUD 701? Maybe some of you don't remember. Something called HUD 701 water planning. And we did that. We collaborated with organizations like the Lake Michigan Federation and so forth. These intergovernmental compacts are extremely important, but much like what Frank said, everybody's got to play a role. And there's been a diminution of funds from the federal level. But remember, I'm talking about 1974, there was a lot of money. A lot of money came from the feds to the state. That's dried up quite a bit, and especially with the economic climate, the political climate in D.C. right now, there's not a lot of it. But we have to continue working. One of the things people may not know is just like international waters, when we talk about international waters, we have boundaries in Lake Michigan. How far off we go is Illinois, and Michigan has a certain other portion. Those things aren't going to change. But there are some environmental kinds of things that we can do. A lot of these invasive species, as you know, come from ships. And when they pump out their bilge from wherever they came from, they introduce those invasive species into our waters. There have been some controls at the federal and the state level, to ameliorate a lot of that, but we just have to be diligent on it. That's something that we definitely have to do, and we in fact are doing.
And you're talking about pollution. The main problem that's facing our kids here in America now, and that's the biggest problem that no one is addressing right now.
Pharmaceutical.
Not pharmaceutical, the biggest problem we're having now is that the babies are being born in birth. And that's the biggest problem we're having now. We're all concerned about kids not learning in high school. They're 16, 17 years old. A lot of crime going on. So they're focusing on the primary school, high school, college. But no one is focusing on the baby that are being born. The babies that are being born have over 300 toxic chemicals in their umbilical cord. They're being born with all these chemicals now. And what does that affect? That affects their brain for learning, and that's why we have kids being born with adult diseases right now. And our biggest problem is during the bill in Springfield on Lake Lately. And people want to know what they're buying, because some of the ingredients in personal care products are toxic. I'll bet you 95% of the majority of personal care products out there is toxic. Chemicals to your health. How many of you buy Dial soap? Antibacterial soap. They have ingredients in there called triclosan. When you combine the chlorinated water, it becomes carcinogen. So we have a lot of products out there. Johnson & Johnson this year says they're not going to put any formaldehyde in their children's products. But through the years, they had formaldehyde in their children's products that call carcinogen. That's the health effect of our baby being born. That's a big problem we're facing. And so this is where we're going out and talking about toxic chemicals in personal care products, cosmetics, pharmaceutical drugs, because when all these chemicals meet, they form nucleotidic hormones. So when a baby is born, the nucleotidic hormones goes into the receptacle, not the real hormones, but the nucleotidic hormones. And that's the one that's causing problems with our kids. Big problem we're facing now with our babies. They're being born with adult diseases.
So that's why don't let anyone tell you that, government, you're over-regulating. No, we're not. We're trying to keep you safe. I mean, there's a fine line between, allowing meaningful development. I served as a chemist for a while. I understand all of that. But at the same time, you have to be sure that you're protected from some of these chemicals that we're talking about. We had something where we stopped this chemical bisphenol A from being put in baby bottles to make them soft. So those are the kinds of things, beyond cleaning up water, that the water rec does. But again, I think that's a direct indication of what I said about different levels of government have to work together. They have to be congruent on what their basic goals are, and that's protecting you. So.
And it's very important because we treat everything at the back end. When it comes to us, it's already in the environment. It's all right. So they want us to remove everything at the back end. Our budget is $1.2 billion, and we spend about $800 million removing everything from the back end, but it's too late. It's already in the environment. Our kids have it, the water has it, adults have it. So we should work on prevention. And then that's why I'd like to work with Riley on prevention. We care about the health and welfare of the residents of Cook County.
That's pretty good for somebody who can't talk.
All right, good. Thank you.
Did everybody get a chance to sign the list that wanted it for the mentor program? Okay, I have a few copies of the flyers for next week. But if you put your email on the list, I'll email it out. Did anyone want the hard copy?
You can leave it on the
Leave it
table
on the
out
table?
front.
Okay.
Out front. So we do, as I mentioned, there is a slate that the party has put forward, but there's a young gentleman here who's a Democrat, and he is running for Water Reclamation District as well. And he actually attended my last organizational meeting and asked if he could come back again. And, you know, again, part of this is making sure that you as voters are able to see who's at the table and, you know, make your decision. So, Brendan Houlihan.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brendan Houlihan, and I am a candidate for the Water Reclamation District. And I want to thank Committeemen and Alderman Holmes for letting me speak today. I'm very happy to be back here again. I enjoyed myself last time I was here, but met some very nice people, and just wanted to tell you more about myself and why I'm running for Water Reclamation District. Well, first of all, I was born and raised in the south suburbs and spent nearly my entire life in the Chicagoland area, except for a couple years where I lived out in Maryland while my father worked for the Veterans Administration under Jimmy Carter. And he also worked for the Clinton administration as well, when he was the treasurer. And then I returned back to Illinois to attend Northern Illinois University, received my bachelor's degree there, and began a career at the Chicago Board of Trade, where I worked for various financial institutions for several years. Then in 2010, I was elected as a commissioner at the Cook County Board of Review. I served with Larry Rogers. And during my time there, I advocated for transparency in the property tax appeals process and began to bring the process of online appeals to homeowners. And I facilitated an extensive community outreach program throughout Cook County to assist taxpayers. Then in 2010, my life changed forever when my daughter Aisley was born. Just like all kids, you know, she is the light of my life and means the world to me. Just like I'm sure this baby means the world to her. And that is why I decided to run for this office. You know, I want the best possible future for my daughter, and I want the best possible future for all families and for all people. And that's why the issues that face the Water Reclamation District are so important. You know, we need to invest in sustainable policies that are going to preserve and protect Lake Michigan. You know, some of my top priorities are dealing with the short-term and long-term solutions to the invasive species problem. It's trying to affect Lake Michigan right now. You know, we're at a serious point here right now. I'm also very concerned about I feel that we should standardize the treatment facilities in Cook County so we know that no waste water is going back into our waterways. And one of the very important things is education, is educating people, you know, our kids, our families, you know, through the churches, through the schools, educating people how to preserve water so we're not wasting water, you know, so we're protecting Lake Michigan, and we're putting less pressure on the system, and which costs taxpayers more money because water has to be processed. So, you know, I am fully dedicated to the mission of the Water Reclamation District. I want clean water and improve our water. I want to guard against flood damage so people aren't experiencing problems in their homes and in their neighborhoods. I believe that we have to have a very open and transparent board at the Water Reclamation District, and we have to protect Lake Michigan to make sure it's always going to be a sustainable, wonderful water source that it has always been. My name is Brendan Houlihan. I'm asking for your support. My number is 80 on the ballot. I'm on the ballot for early voting all the way up to Election Day. I'm on the ballot. I need your help, you know, and I can win this. And I will protect you, and I will be back here. You can count on it. You know, You know, I don't play games. I'm here to help people. So my name is Brendan Houlihan. Thank you very much. Thanks.
So just a couple of things, and there are a couple other people that I definitely want to bring up to be able to get in front of you today. But I just want to make sure that everybody signed in the front so that, you know, moving forward, we're building our organization now. I want to make sure I have all the proper contact information for everyone. So please make sure that you sign up. What's located on the table out there, there are several pieces of information about the candidates who presented before you today, but also just a couple other documents that you should be mindful of. Early voting does begin March 3rd. That's a week from Monday. And, you know, the real push is going to be for early voting, especially because we don't know what the weather is going to be like. In our ward, for us, our early voting facility is Jeffrey Manor Library. And if you want to, no matter where you live, you can vote downtown at 69 West Washington any time during March 3rd and March 15th. I do want to make a plug for another election that's coming up in April, and that's for local school council. I was a member of a charter school board. I was also a member of a local school council. I think it's definitely a way to get involved in the community. In the 7th Ward, the majority of our neighborhood schools, unfortunately, we didn't have any schools to really close, except Buckingham, which was a special needs school. And so we have neighborhood schools. And so it's important for, you know, us in the community to recognize that kids in our neighborhood are going to schools in our neighborhood. And if you want to be a voice as a community representative or a parent, I think it's a great way to get involved. So LSC applications are due next Wednesday, February 26th at the school, if you're interested in that. Also, what I'm going to start passing around right now is, the other thing that's out there are absentee ballot applications. So if you want those applications are out there. And if you are not registered to vote, you cannot register for the March 18th primary, but you still can register for November. So voter registration applications are out there as well. And I have a couple voter deputy registrars here if anybody wants to just get registered today but it will still be for November. So I'm going to pass around this sheet. I know most of you here, I do have, like I said, let me re-recognize Michael Anderson and Craig Bailey, who are my area coordinators, two of them who help me out on the committee side. But I'll pass around an election day sign-up sheet if you're interested in helping out on election day. That'll be great. Just sign this document. So there you go. I'll start that with Daryl. And so a couple other people who are here that I want to recognize and I want to bring up. First is Senator Trotter, Senator Dottie Trotter. He represents part of the 7th Ward, but the first campaign I ever worked on, I worked somewhat under the tutelage of Senator Trotter. He was one of the trusted advisors on the team, and ever since then I've had such respect and admiration for, you know, his belief in Democratic Party values and really what that means in urban communities. Since I've become alderman and committeeman, he's been a great mentor. He's been available, giving me great advice on just building a strategy, building a team, and really fighting the good fight for the people. So Senator Trotter, would you care to give us a few words, please?
Thank you very much, Alderman. You know, that kind of introduction, I wish I was running this. But I stand before you, as a resident of the community and as, more importantly, as someone for the past 25 years that's represented this community. Someone who has certainly listened to you and taken to Springfield and to whatever place that people would listen to me, the concerns of this community.